Since I grew up playing the Sonic Mega Collections Plus on PS2, a compilation of a ton of the original Sonic games from the 90s, including both Genesis or Mega Drive games, and also the Game Gear titles or Master System. It doesn't have all of them, of course, and I wouldn't get gems until years later. Combine this with all the cartoons easily available to watch on YouTube, and alone with just YouTube itself, and you've got the perfect Sonic upbringing. Okay, so what's the problem with Sonic 3 and Knuckles? I'll be honest here, I've fallen into the camp of saying Sonic 3 and Knuckles is my favourite Sonic game in the series just because it's popular to do so. When I was younger, Sonic 3 held this mysticism of being the pinnacle of classic Sonic game design, level design, visual storytelling, music, and that's all true. But recently I've been replaying these old titles a lot thanks to Origins, and after replaying these games over and over and over again, I've come to realise I don't really like Sonic 3 all that much. Don't get me wrong, this game is still amazing for a ton of reasons, but I'm gonna be honest here, I prefer Sonic 2 and maybe even Sonic 1 as well, and this all comes down to these games just having way better pacing. These games are a lot shorter and concise and straight to the point. Sonic 2 excels at this the absolute most with the obvious lack of zones like Labyrinth Zone, but altogether Sonic 2 is so concisely designed to be fast paced but also challenging in the right way, incentivizing going fast but still requiring skill. This rings true for all the other titles as well, but as a game with its structure, I think Sonic 2 reigns supreme, and I think it's my second favourite Sonic game of all time, just behind Mania. Sonic 2 isn't perfect by any means. I really dislike Oil Ocean because it kills the pace, and some of the enemy placements in Metropolis are really annoying, but apart from that, the game is nearly perfect with its level design, graphics, music, and of course the special stages. I used to hate these special stages, but now I absolutely love them for their perfect and rewarding challenge. Seriously, it's tough, but it's fair, and it's even more fun when you're playing it with two players. It's really well done, and I think the reason I've hated it is because on the PS2 the special stages look really bad, and they're a lot slower because of European PS2s are 50Hz, so you've got a much more slower and chunkier experience. But on Origins, an updated port, it's great. I really do think the Sonic 2 special stages are absolutely incredible and I love them. I don't even care about Super Sonic, the levels are just fun and have the right amount of challenge and balance. Before I continue on to Sonic 3, I'll just say now that I love Sonic 1 as well, almost just as much. Of course, because of the music, graphics, the level design. I also think the game is extremely well paced, even with Labyrinth Zone. I can beat this game with the Chaos Emeralds in a little over an hour and it's a blast. I absolutely love these games because of the insanely well implemented momentum physics that rewards your skill and memorization of the levels. It's a perfect contrast to Mario. I love Mario for the more precise, slow platforming. Now I'm aware Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is two games merged together, both Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, but in my opinion both games are terribly paced because both games have absolutely terrible zones in the middle. Marble Garden Zone, Carnival Night, and especially Sandopolis. They are tedious, boring, and the longest zones in the games, and they absolutely kill the pace of a playthrough. By the time I reach Lava Reef Zone, I've pretty much had enough by then. I also think having 14 special stages is a bit too much, and each zone introduces a ton of new gimmicks. I really think these 3 zones should have been cut to allow for a more streamlined and fun experience like Sonic 2. I know this could impact the Super Emeralds, but do they really matter? Not really. It's not like they left any real impact on future games anyways, and all they do is allow you to unlock a super form called the Hypersonic. But even then, this isn't even my biggest problem with Sonic 3. My biggest problem is the absolute overabundance of instant crush deaths, especially in Carnival Night. Look at this, every single time it's infuriating and frustrating and tedious and not at all seems fair. I'm going fast and I have no way of knowing this was going to happen. This is an issue throughout multiple zones in the game, and this one issue, an issue that can cost lives and cause major frustration, always ruins the game for me. Sure, you could say this is a blatant overreaction, but how am I supposed to accept this? Apart from that, yeah, Sonic 3 is pretty solid. I think the biggest improvements are definitely the music, the bosses especially, but the special stages are not as cool as they were in Sonic 2.
Greetings, loyal subjects! I am Dr. Eggman, the greatest scientific genius of the world!
Oh yeah, since I'm here, Sonic CD. It has my favourite soundtrack of the entire franchise, the Japanese one of course. I love the environmental storytelling, a great conceptually sound story. It has an anticlimactic ending, the worst bosses ever. The special stages are pretty cool, but for some reason they give me trouble. They're the most difficult special stages for me for some reason. And yeah, I think I even like Sonic CD more than Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
And if you think this place looks like crap, it was like that when I got here, so sue me.